Yo, what's going on, man? Free agency is about a week in. 90 to 95% of the deals are already done. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what the 5 best signings have been throughout this free agency period, in my personal opinion. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below in terms of what you guys think. I do have the 5 worst signings coming out in a few days as well, so stay tuned for that. But look, let's get straight into things, man. I think these are in no particular order, but first and foremost, I actually think this is the best signing. Number 1, I've got Shake Milton going to the Minnesota Timberwolves on a 2-year deal worth $10 million. Man, what a fucking great signing. I think Shake Milton is one of those guys who was just stuck in a shitty situation. He was underutilized by Doc Rivers in the 76ers. And even on the 76ers, whenever he got the minutes to actually showcase his ability, he fucking showed out, man. So in 11 games as a starter this past season, he averaged 20.3 points, 4.8 rebounds, 7.2 assists, shooting 51.8% from the field, 41% from 3, and 97% from the free throw line. And why this is great for the Wolves? Well, firstly, the Wolves ranked 14th out of 16 playoff teams when it comes to bench scoring these past playoffs. Obviously, a big deal, a big reason for that is because Naz Reid was out for the playoffs, so that's a huge chunk, huge blow, I should say. But with that being said, the Wolves in the regular season, they were 14th anyway, so they were right in the middle of the pack, so they weren't a great bench scoring team. They weren't horrible, but they weren't great either. So the addition of Shake Milton is only going to bolster that bench up. And his shot creation is exactly what the Timberwolves need in that second unit. Like that 2-man combo between him and Naz Reid off the bench is going to be pretty fucking nice, man. Defensively, look, he's not the best defender, but he's 6'5", he's got a 6'11 wingspan, the tools are there, and on the Wolves, he's surrounded by plenty of great defenders anyway, so it's not really what they're bringing him on board for anyway. Now, you look at the Wolves roster now, look at their second lineup, bro. They got Shake Milton, they got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Troy Brown Jr., Carl Anderson, Naz Reid. That's a fucking nasty second unit, bro. And the fact that they got Shake Milton, a great combo guard, at only $5 million a year is an absolute steal, especially when you consider the fact that Mike Conley, he's only aging. I don't know how old he is right now. It's probably like 35 or 36 years old. So to be able to snag up a guy like Milton, you know, someone you can either start or have him come off the bench, that's going to be massive moving forward for the Wolves. So I've got Shake Milton as my first great deal. Next up, I've got Austin Reaves for 4 years, $56 million. Look, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm a huge fan of Austin Reaves' game. He is someone I might have overrated in the past. I don't know. But when I look at him play in the playoffs, he's so poised. He's not afraid of the moment. And offensively, what else can you ask him to do? He can drop 20 plus points consistently if he's getting enough touches. He's a great 3-point shooter. I won't say great. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's a very good secondary playmaker. He can draw fouls at an elite level. Like, what can't the guy do, man? And defensively, he can hold his own as well. Like, obviously, he's no lockdown defender, but he's no liability either. And so, well, I mentioned in one of my past videos that I was expecting him to get somewhere in the $80 to $85 million range. And the fact that the Lakers secured him for $56 million over 4 years is a fucking steal. That's $14 million a year on average. And in today's market, bro, you can get a lot shittier players for that price tag. Like, for comparison, here's a few names signed this offseason who's going to be making an average salary more than Austin Reaves' $14 million tag. So you got D'Angelo Russell, you've got Dylan Brooks, Max Strus, Harrison Barnes. Look, I'm going to be real with you. I don't think any of those guys are as good as Austin Reaves right now. And I wouldn't want any of those guys on my team moving forward. So look, overall, excellent signing for the Lakers. Next up, I've got Russell Westbrook, who signed a 2-year, $7.8 million deal to stay with the Clippers. I'm not gonna lie, feels a little fucking dirty including him in here. This is a former MVP who's still a very good player, and the fact that the Clippers got him for under $4 million a year is a fucking steal, bro. Like, just look at what he did the past postseason in the opening round against, obviously, where the Clippers were very overmatched against the Suns. Russ was carrying that Clippers offense, man. He averaged, what did he average? 23.6 points, 7.6 rebounds, 7.4 assists. And when you watched him play, you could tell he was one of the few Clipper players that actually gave a shit about winning. And whether he's starting or coming off the bench, for $4 million a year, that's amazing value, man. You're basically paying bench warmer money for a guy who's more than capable of being a number 1 option for your team on any given night, really. So Russell Westbrook's up there for me. Next up, also feeling a little dirty with this inclusion, Eric Gordon for 2 years, $6.5 million. it feels weird including a ring chaser in these videos because fuck, man, like these guys are signing for, much under their market value for a team in the hopes of getting a championship. And Eric Gordon is one of those guys. But regardless, you can't deny the value of getting a guy like Eric Gordon for just over $3 million a year. He's a little washed right now, especially defensively. He's really not there. But he's still a former Sixth Man of the Year, former 3-point champion. He's a fucking good player, man. And the fact that the Suns, they got a guy of Eric Gordon's caliber, despite being hard capped, had no leverage, had no spending money, that's an absolute win, man. And I'm looking beyond the fact that Eric Gordon's probably not the best fit for the Suns, just because they're already starting 2 shooting guards in the backcourt anyway. Now you got Eric Gordon coming off the bench. I don't know. It's not a great fit, especially when they could use more playmaking. But like I said, what the fuck else are they going to do with $3 million, man? So the fact that they got Eric Gordon, that's a huge W in my opinion. So I've got Eric Gordon going to the Suns is another great deal. And lastly, rounding things off, I've got Jevon Carter signing with the Chicago Bulls for 3 years, $20 million. All I can say is the Bucks are going to miss this guy a ton. He's a damn good defender despite standing only 6'1", and he shot over 42% from 3 in the regular season. And overall, I think the Bulls they took a massive W this offseason. You look at all of their moves. All of them are pretty fucking solid, but I think of all of them, this was the best one. Now, I don't know what direction the Bulls are kind of heading towards because Lonzo Ball's not going to play next season. They've got a lot of good players, but realistically, they're not talented enough to make a deep playoff run. So whether they're trying to gear up for a playoff run or a play-in tournament appearance, or whether they're just consolidating assets on great contracts to ship away at the trade deadline, they made the right move signing all these guys to pretty reasonable deals. So fuck it. I think it's a great signing. Jevon Carter, if the Bulls decide to blow it up, teams are going to be paying up for him at the trade deadline. So, and for under $7 million a year, that's fucking great. So I've got Jevon Carter going to the Bulls, rounding my list. So look, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who else would you have in there? Thank you guys very much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.